great businesses in this county now. Every person in Iowa County could have a job in Iowa County, and we would still have to bring in 2,000 people a year, or 2,000 people a day for the jobs. But half of our workforce really works here, so Iowa County is one of the biggest importers of people now. So that makes getting some businesses pretty tough, because there's some businesses that would have to bring in a workforce, and we've seen a lot of communities that hasn't worked too well. So that's why we need to complement what we've got and look to the future.
I agree with a lot of what Ray said. Economic development is very important. The interstate is a magnet. We need to utilize everything that we can for the corridor out there, if you want to call it that. We're very fortunate to have the amount of businesses in Iowa County that we have that are major employers. So we need to work hard to keep them here, and also need to work very hard to get out there and see what's new out there and what we can get brought in here.
I guess I am on a number of boards, and I'm happy to be on some that are giving out grants that do not have to be paid back, so that people can continue to grow. As people move into Iowa County, they look at the churches, the libraries, the schools, the grocery stores, beautiful and clean landscaping. That's why I'm happy to be on the Community Foundation Board, where we've given money to the Creamery Theater, Gateway Park Arboretum, North English First Responders. They look at the hospitals. We gave to the Victor American Legion, Victor Boy Scouts, St. David of Iowa County, North English Public Library, Williamsburg Community Child Care Center, Mecca Rural Employment Alternatives, Heartland Project Outreach Experience. All of these boards are keeping our community alive. I agree with Ray, we should continue with our TIF districts if someone wants to come in, especially if they are an organization that can create jobs. Jobs are what we need to keep our community growing. It's good, it's just good business.
I would definitely support the existing businesses and also the new businesses and trying to bring in those new businesses. I'm also a proponent of the tourism in Amana that I would like to see, as well as Tanger and Williamsburg. I've noticed quite a few here too. I think we should learn to capitalize on that tourism that's coming in and those these tourists that come in that are supporting our communities, and hopefully keep them here a little bit longer and look for opportunities in developing in those areas.
Economic development and maintaining businesses and industry here in the county is very important, and this board has worked with Whirlpool officials, state officials, regional officials in order to try and make sure that Whirlpool stayed in Amana when it was sold. We accomplished that. Victor Plastics was shut down. We worked again with Victor officials, area and regional officials in order to try and find a new business. They came and the board needed to pass some ordinances. We got those passed in order to make sure a new business was moving in to that land and saving hundreds of jobs. We have worked to promote tourism. Tanger is very, very important. The Amana is very important. They generate a lot of money for not only the 1-cent sales tax for the cities and for the roads, but also the 1-cent silo tax for the schools generates a lot of money that helps out the school infrastructure tremendously. So it is important that we keep that up. But I want to go back to the previous question. The county attorney said he did not want to do the handbook. He did not have the expertise. We rejected. The previous board had hired Gary Ray and Associates. Not one county official wanted to use what Gary Ray and Associates drew up. So the county officials drew up the one that they could best come up with themselves, but it needed some adjustment. And Jim Hanks was hired for one project. He was work on